Hello and welcome to Working Dad Trader, the channel where you get to watch my journey from literally nothing to hopefully a lot better future for myself and my family. I'm a full-time working dad, really busy life. I don't have tons and tons of money. I am not a financial expert. So within this channel, you get to see my progress. You get to see all the things I get right, the things I get wrong, my thoughts on the stock market, what stocks I buy, what things I'm interested in, and I do a monthly update on how my portfolio is performing on Trading 212. So if that's what you like, then hit the like button and subscribe. And if you haven't already subscribed, then why not? You really are missing out. In this episode, I'm going to look at my April 2021 Trading 212 portfolio update and what's been happening over the last month. Again, anyone that subscribes and makes their subscription public, then I try my best to go through the list and publicly thank everyone. I really do appreciate it. It helps my channel grow so much. So let's dive in and have a look. So this is the April portfolio update of my Trading 212 account. It currently sits as close of trade now on the Friday at 13.3%. I believe on my last update back in March, my portfolio had dropped down to around, I think it was below 8% at that time, about a month ago. So we had that strong start to the year where it went up and did really well. And then sort of the end of February into March, it was quite a bad downturn. And I think it got as low as maybe 6% at one point. So it's slowly gaining back to where it sort of was before the pullback back in that time period. So I'm quite happy with the way it's going at the moment. In the last month, I've taken out some money from this account and put it into my Hargreaves Lansdowne ISA account. That was just a decision to obviously fill up my ISA sooner than using obviously this account, which is just for my trading. So roughly around £200 has come out of this account so far and gone over to my ISA account. So what's happened in April? If we go down through, I think the big thing that's happened in April is that I sold my Amazon shares on Trading 212. It was in a fairly decent profit, and I am a big lover of Amazon. I think they're a great company. But when looking at my funds in my ISA account, I've got like an ETF fund that has Amazon in it. So I made a decision to take Amazon out of this account and use obviously that money elsewhere. Obviously I took a lot of it out and put it into my ISA itself. So it's almost gone reinvested but in the same place. So probably the biggest change is, like I say, I've sold Amazon only for the reason of I already hold Amazon in some of my funds that I've already got in my ISA. So obviously the money that I sold Amazon for, as some of the money that has come back out of this account and gone into my ISA account. So not because I see Amazon going down or crashing or anything, just for that reason. If we go down through, it's still fairly positive. Alibaba is still struggling. Still, that's going to be a slow one to recover. Obviously, now everything within the Chinese authorities has fined Alibaba, and all that's been sorted out. Like I said before, it could have been a lot worse, but it's a reasonable fine, and the company's just too big, and the customer base is huge in China. So eventually that'll get sorted out, and yeah, it would start to recover, and I can see that easily being in pluses again by the end of the year. A lot of what's happening with Alibaba at the moment on my trading 212 is, if I show you the graph, obviously it's still got a way to recover, but I'm fairly down near the bottom, so I'm quite happy. A lot of I'm getting hurt on the returns with Alibaba at the moment is the FX impact, which at the moment, if I never had the FX impact, I would actually be just in profit, or breaking even. So I mean, I'm losing nearly 6% just in the FX impact at the moment. So obviously that's hurting that with Alibaba at the moment. But like I say, I'm been very bullish for a long time about Alibaba, and I will carry on being bullish, and I can see that getting back up to above 280 by the end of the year. That's just my prediction. The rest is pretty much the same. Apple, ATT, Avon Rubber, all my UK stocks are still going sideways. It's not really improved at all over the last 6 months. What has changed? The biggest change so far, I would say, one of the new stocks I bought was iShares India. I've recently done a video about the benefits, I believe, of looking for growth investments in China and India. If you haven't seen that video, then please go and check it out. Yeah, and they're two massive markets with massive economical growth for the next 10 years are predicted for these two countries. So I wanted a bit of exposure. I've got a lot of exposure to China already, and I wanted a bit more exposure to India. I found the trouble after a bit of research is that there's not many Indian stocks listed on Trading 212, so it's a bit more tricky to invest in just single stocks. And I would have to do a lot more homework on a lot of these stocks in India, because obviously they're not so well known to us in the West. So I'd have to do a lot more research. But to start with, I thought it'd be sensible to get some exposure would be to invest in some type of ETF or an index tracker or some type of fund that invests in really good Indian companies in the Indian market. So I found the iShares one through Trading 212. So I've given myself some exposure to India by investing in a lot of Indian companies, which is also reducing my risk at the moment. And two, obviously, that gets better and stuff like that. It's positive at the moment. Obviously, India's gone through a bit of a downturn with things that are happening there at the moment with the country's health. So the stock market in India might well fall a bit more, and eventually it will bounce back, and so will the stock market as well. So I just bought that to give myself a bit more exposure to these markets. Another new one is JD.com, the Chinese online retailer. Again, JD is a massive company in China, and I wanted to get a bit more exposure to the Chinese market. So yeah, I wanted to use some of that to buy a little bit of JD. I think JD is slightly
undervalued at the moment. And I can also see that one returning to some sort of highs. It's down at about 77, and I can see it getting back up near the 100 again by the end of the year, also similar to Alibaba. So this year I think will be hard to really find growth stocks, not like last year where the stock market was flying after the major drop. It was really quite easy to pick stocks because everything generally was going up at some point. This year's a bit more tricky, and it's going to be a bit harder. So yeah, it's really have to look maybe further afield to find really good growth stocks to grow your portfolio. Another company that I sold in this month was Cvs Health. With that, again, another solid company. I decided that I had a nice profit on that one and decided to sell out of that one and take the profits. The rest is going along, like I say, quite happy. Magnet International is by far the best stock that I probably own in percentage-wise, at over 80% in profit on that one. There's a few still struggling. Mercado Libre is still struggling. Really quite happy with the National Australian Bank as well. I thought the Australian bank had a bit more value than the UK banks or even the US bank, because when I was looking at them I thought they were all fairly overpriced already. So I was quite happy to take a little bit of the Australian bank to get a bit more value. The rest is, like I say, much change. There's a few that are struggling. The other new one I bought was Tenko. I bought a small position in Tenko. They're one of the world's leading manufacturers of auto parts for cars, and they do a lot of stuff to do with suspensions and ride and making comfortable. They do lots and lots of parts. They've got massive customers, as in car brands like Nissan, BMW, Ford, VW, Toyota, General Motors, Volvo. So I quite like that company when I looked into it. It will be interesting to see what happens. Their latest earnings are released on the 6th of May. They're down at the moment, so we'll see what happens next week once the results come out. But I'm sort of happy to see. I can see that company getting back up to around $12 easily. So yeah, so that's one of the other companies I bought. The rest is pretty much unchanged. I've still got my general ones there, obviously, like Union Pacific and Walt Disney, etc.
Okay, so thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed that and got something useful out of that. Like I say, that's just my own personal opinions on what's been happening the last month and how I'm looking at the stock market. Remember, do your own research and be careful when investing your own money. And I really do hope to see you in the next episode. So remember to like and subscribe. See you soon. Thank you.